A Scotchman with good Donegal connections who's just completed a very unusual swim across Lough Finn at Fintown. And he did it to raise awareness about a legend that's connected to the name of the Lough. And to tell us more now, well, he's known as Dan the Mareman. Real name is Donald McGilla Cummel, and he is joining us now on the line and also on Zoom. Donald, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Now, first of all, tell me about the legend that's connected. This is where a local woman is reportedly she drowned there a long time ago, but in an unusual endeavour.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, it's a mythological story, a beautiful story, but tragic, of course, as well. She was Fingal, who Lough Finn is named after. Heard the shouts of her brother across the loch on the other side, and in endeavour to get across to him, she swam across, and confused by the echoes of the hills around her, around Lough Finn, she ended up swimming backwards and forwards across the loch, and eventually and drowned because it just became too much. So yeah, I basically followed her, not exactly her route in terms of possibly where she left from too, which I'm hoping to do in the future at some point. But I went from one side of the loch to the other and back, following her course.
Yeah, which kind of confused me when I realised that you'd left from the jetty and you'd gone over to the other side and then come back, because I was thinking, just to go one way would be enough, but you went over and came back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I think because the people who were there didn't realise that as well. And all right, you're going to come you're going to come back as well. I was like, yeah.
How long did it take over and back?
Not long, probably about 20 minutes, maybe. All right. Not long at all.
You see, to most of us looking at the lake, we would think that it's bigger than that. Well, it is what it is. But you did it in about 20 minutes. So I suppose it's not about the size of the lake. It's about how good you were getting over and back.
Oh yeah, well the conditions were great as well. It was a beautiful day, and there was a lovely group of people there cheering me on, and that always helps, gives you a bit of a boost.
Good.
To get across, people are watching you at least.
you feel you can't let them down.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was nice. It was nice. So thanks very much to all the locals in Fintown, and people like Joseph Brennan who came along and who explained the story as well in Gaelic, which was beautiful. So yeah, thanks again to all those people.
They came out just to see this mad Scotchman really fail in his efforts to get over and back at Lough Finn.
Yeah. I think there was a lot of curiosity locally. I think. I just posted on the Facebook group a few weeks ago because I knew I'd be over there because my granny's from Minestrone, which is just above Lough Finn, back towards Brocha. And so spent all my summer holidays there basically growing up and Christmases. So I just posted on the group just to get a bit of local knowledge, where would be best to swim from to. And before I knew it, there was a lot of interest and people were genuinely concerned as well, because I think the legend itself has really, as legends do, they play on people's minds, and they it ends up being something which is quite something to be revered. So I think people were quite intrigued, but as to what might happen, which do you know what? To an extent, it played into my mind as well. Actually, when I was going across, you could almost feel the legend itself and what Fingal might have gone through, and which makes it an even more momentous swim for me. Swims like this are really special to me.
You left from the jetty there just beside the railway station, but the legend has it that she left from another part of the lake. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, just slightly further up. It's called Fingal's Apron, and it's more or less basically the same distance going across. But I was going to do that, but just because the railway's in the way and I knew there'd be people coming, and I didn't want it to be too much of a logistical nightmare for people to get down and stuff. Whereas that jetty was quite accessible for people, and it was just easier. But at one point, I will go back and do it from Fingal's apron to go across. But yeah, it's essentially the same distance, just further down the loch a bit.
Okay. Well, true. Seeing as it's symbolic and it's essentially the same distance, then does it really matter? And as you say, at least where you left from was more accessible. But you teach swimming. You do a lot of cold water swimming yourself at home and teach swimming as well. Is that right?
Yeah, it's just up in Argyll. I'm an open water swim coach, so I train people in open water, athletes, children, tourists, a whole range of people, and do guided holidays out in the Hebrides. So we will swim in different locations, beautiful locations, and basically providing safety cover, but also coaching people and helping people to be better open water swimmers. And I'm also a part-time PE teacher as well, locally.
So people can take a holiday and base it on wild swimming, and you'll take them to different locations.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, out in Argyll, we've got an amazing, as does Donegal actually. Beautiful sheltered bays where you can get a really good swim. And yeah, I kind of coach a holistic approach in terms of how to prepare, and how you recover afterwards, and also the safety points, which are really important for open water swimming. So just to generally upskill people and make them feel more confident to access different bodies of open water safely.
Right. And you swim all year round?
Yeah, all year round. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, right through winter. And actually, swimming through winter is great because it gets me ready for the busier summer season when I'm in the water quite a lot. So it's good cold conditioning for me. So yeah, it's the secret to long life, I believe.
So they say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And were you swimming today?
I was just coaching someone in the water just up at Crinan Harbour, which is just near the Cor of Wrekin, which again has a very beautiful Gaelic story attached to it, to do with the Cailleach, the goddess of winter, who governs the Cor of Wrekin. So yeah, I'm surrounded by a lot of Gaelic legend here as well. So that's great.
So, I mean, you've spent a lot of time, obviously, in Donegal, especially when you were young. But you've done a lot of research into the local folklore and Celtic mythology.
Yes, oh, absolutely. Yeah, as I've got older, you probably might guess from my accent, although I've been in Scotland most of my life now, most of my adult life anyway. I was born in London. My dad's from Donegal. He's from Brocha, and my granny was from Minestrone, and so that attachment and that pride in my roots has made me more connected to it as I get older, and learning Gaelic, like Scottish Gaelic at the minute, and how that all connects together, and how our different Gaelic worlds connect as well between Scotland and Ireland is really interesting to me. And how some of the stories are consistent as well. So very important to me just now. And also in terms of what I'm doing in terms of my guiding and my coaching in open water, I try to bring in a bit of Gaelic and the folklore and the stories of the bodies of water we're swimming in. So yeah, that's really important to me.
Well, you've done a great job in highlighting the mythology of how Lough Finn was named, and another way that you gave back was there was a special offering before you did your swim. Yes,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it's an ancient practice where probably predating Christian times, where you'd make an offering, get Gaelic, sort of an ancient Gaelic custom of making an offering of something that you'd ordinarily enjoy. So it's really important to make an offering to, in this case, an ancient spirit of the Fingal, but also my ancestors of the area. So I love soda bread. My wife makes amazing soda bread, so I offered Fingal a bit of soda bread and some poutine, which is, I'm not sure if it was illegally distilled or not, but
we'll look into that part.
Yeah, exactly.
It was offered anyhow.
Yeah, exactly.
However it was produced.
That's right, and it was good stuff. So and yeah, that's important to me because that's an important symbolic gesture, and I think it's a really interesting way of connecting to the landscape and taking care of the landscape and acknowledging it and acknowledging the ancestors and the spiritual story behind that.
Well, I hope she appreciated it all the attention and the offering of the bread and potchie. And listen, and no doubt you'll be back, and whether you do another swim there or not, be back to enjoy the locality and the lovely surroundings over there. Donald, thanks a million for having a chat with us.
No problem at all. Can I just say a special thanks to your man's coffee for the coffee afterwards, which was very well received.
Mm-hmm.
And again, thanks very much to everyone who came along in Fintown, and especially Joseph Brennan for providing the story Lochside, which was really great. So thanks again to everyone in Fintown.
No better man.
And my uncle Sean as well, who came along and spoke a little Gaelic. Lochside as well. So thanks very much.
It sounds like quite the day was had.
Indeed.
All right, Donald. Look after yourself. Bye.
Thank you very much.